I'm Jordan Jareb. If you're new to the channel, I spent 5 years in the Florida Department of Corrections. I used to be the leader of a militia group back in the day. No longer. It was about 10 years ago. I sell all types of interesting merch. This is satellite camouflage. Check it out. I don't care if you buy it. I just want you to look at it. I sell all types of interesting stuff. Make sure to hit the like button. Let's do this. Imagine I get some fire ants, some carpenter ants. I just go all over the place looking for different ants from different ant colonies. And I put every ant from every colony in this jar. And then I put a lid on this jar and I shake it up. Shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it, shake it. I stir the jar up, right? What's going to happen? Well, we've gone out of our way to put all these ants that were never really meant to be right next to each other, and we're going to amp them up and we're going to shake up the jar, okay? Those ants are going to start biting each other. So I don't really care what race you are watching this, but what I do want you to understand is the modern world is that jar, okay? That jar is the environment we currently live in, okay? Everybody is forced into these big cities where everybody's in close proximity with each other, and they want to just pack every culture into one spot. It's all about corporations squeezing out massive productivity from people, and it's really at the expense of quality of life and just having space to, not have tons of people everywhere. I don't think human beings are ever supposed to live like this in crowded cities. And I think the inevitable result is mental illness, hate crimes, mutual distrust. It's just kind of a weird artificial thing we've built. Unfortunately, everybody watching this video is at a higher risk of being the victim of a hate crime than normal. Now, I don't want to exaggerate this risk. Statistically, you're probably not going to be the victim of a hate crime. No, the data has been messed with a little bit. See, the problem is data that we have on hate crimes isn't really reported honestly, because certain cultures that commit hate crimes are usually financially motivated. It's usually not just hate crimes. However, we have seen more traditional type hate crimes against white people. Iryna Zarutska is one of them, but also this young man that almost got killed in Daytona Beach. Unfortunately, that was called a random throat slashing. It's not a random throat slashing. That was definitely a hate crime, 100%. Have white people that are angry, and some of those white people are probably mentally ill too, and I assume that a portion of them might try to retaliate for these things. And it's this vicious cycle where you have retaliation, and it goes over and over and over again. And so this situation, I anticipate, is about to get worse. How do you protect yourself from hate crimes, regardless of what race you are? Well, one, you need to know about violent subcultures, okay? If this was 1985 and you saw a group of white dudes walking down the street with steel-toed Doc Marten boots, red and white shoelaces, you pretty much know those are skinheads, okay? If you're a person that's one of their enemies, you might want to go the other way in 1985, okay? The other day, we ran into a guy that was clearly a blood. I instantly recognized that he was a blood. In fact, I even know what set I think this dude's in, okay? But we're not going to go into that. I'm not going to put the guy's business out there. But we ran into a blood. We ran into a Bloods gang member in rural Wakulla County, and he basically just said hi to us. It wasn't like a big altercation or anything, but I think he was actually enjoying the absurdity of the moment. He's a blood in the middle of nowhere, Hicktown, and there's an open carry thing where there's a bunch of white dudes walking around with guns. I think he actually enjoyed the absurdity of the moment, and he wanted to be in the video. So again, nothing violent inherently happened there. He seemed like he was having a good time or whatever, but I instantly knew what I was looking at, okay? So you need to know about gangs. You need to know about subcultures. You need to know about what is this person, okay? You need to know if there's a local militia in your area, black or white. You need to know what their uniform is. You probably want to know what their stance is. Are they really outlaw with it, or are they trying to be law-abiding? This is very important information. If I was a black guy living out here, I would want to know if there's like a satanic group of people chopping goats' heads up and, yeah, I would, you'd probably want to know stuff like that. And if you're a white guy, you probably want to know if there's like a huge Hebrew Israelite compound down the street from your house or something, right? So paying attention on like what's going on in your area is probably a good idea. It's probably a good idea to know, what groups are in your area. I hate to say this, but Anti-Defamation League, Southern Poverty Law Center, they track shit like that. You know what I mean? So, yeah, you can definitely see what groups are doing in your area, Hebrew Israelites, Black Panthers, whatever. And look, man, I don't really have anything against Hebrew Israelites or Black Panthers as long as they're not trying to kill me, okay? You don't try to kill me, I won't try to kill you. Is that a deal? I think that sounds pretty reasonable. You don't try to kill me, I won't try to kill you. I think that's a deal. Just setting the record straight. I don't have any problem with these people at all, really. But I do know what they look like, okay? I do know, like, when I hear one talking, I can instantly, like, okay, boom, that's a Hebrew Israelite. I could just tell when I'm so good at knowing who's who that when I hear one of them talk, I'm like, oh, that's a Moor. Oh, that's a Hebrew Israelite. Oh, that's Nation of Islam. I've gotten really good at this stuff. And so I know who I'm dealing with. I know who I'm talking to. And you should know what's going on like in your local area with that kind of thing. Most people in groups like that are law-abiding, but one of them might be cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and he might fly off the rails and do some independent shit that's crazy, and you might become the victim of that. Let's talk about weapons, okay? You need to carry the maximum, if you're in an urban area and you're, factoring in everything I just said, you need to carry the maximum of what you can legally have that you can afford. I'm telling you this. You need to have a counterterrorism loadout if you can afford one. If you can't afford one, you need to build whatever the next best thing you can have is. I ride around on my e-bike with my pepper ball gun and my knife. Now, one thing I want you guys to notice is I got my pepper ball and my knife in the same section of my duty belt. The reason I do that is if you're going to try to disarm me, both of these have a retention system, okay? So the knife has a retention system. You got to push this down in order to activate it. And the pepper ball also has a Velcro retention system. So both of those weapons are right next to each other. I personally like keeping all my tools toward the front of my body. I'm a really big fan of these neck knives, like 100%. But here's the thing. Don't use the metal chain. One, because it's shiny and gives away your position. That's not very tactical. Two is you can use the paracord for stuff. Now, in order to safely use paracord, you notice I got a rubber band around this. So if I pull, this will eventually come out. So this will keep people from choking me out with my own paracord. However, you see this knot right here? I now have a garrote which I can use as a sentry removal device. So, if I want to choke somebody out with this, I can. Okay, but if they want to choke me out with it, I have that rubber band out there so it will slip. And the rubber band will need to be replaced because it will get dried out in the sun, okay? So you have to replace that rubber band every 2 weeks or so. Always test your slip system. Make sure it slips. You don't want somebody choking you out with your own neck knife. Again, I like to orient my weapons toward the front of my body because I don't want somebody sneaking up behind me. You remember that video of the kid at the gas station that literally had his gun taken from behind him? So scout carry and appendix, like the rear pocket carry and stuff like that, don't do that, okay? Hardened criminals 100% love a guy that just has a weapon just there and he's not paying attention to it. I like keeping all my weapons where I can keep the enemy from getting them, where I can get to them quick. You know what I mean? That's what I like to do. You should carry a serious tactical flashlight with you at all times, one that includes a strike bezel. You should carry first aid with you at all times, a tourniquet. Things like snack machines and ice boxes and stuff. See if there's somebody around that corner, okay? Check your corners, Yeah, like when you pull up on a spot, you need to look around and see kind of what's going on, okay? Don't give your back to strangers. And I know people say never give your back to a But really, this actually applies to everybody. Be careful about giving your back to strangers in general, okay? You don't want to give your back to strangers, especially strangers that have a certain look about them, okay? A certain area of town may be a good spot to hang out in at 7 a.m., but at 8 p.m., that same place will be a very dangerous spot. If you're in a state where law-abiding citizens can carry good stuff like this, I recommend you carry it. Carry a better weapon than the attacker. The attacker doesn't know what's legal and illegal. He doesn't care. He's a criminal. He's probably not very smart, okay? If he's got a little pocket knife and you have this, you have a major advantage. Something like this has some real chopping power to it. Pepper ball is an extremely unregulated and underrated tool. You can use it to take out their vision if you have to, or you can simply shoot around them or near them in a way that you'll have a plume of smoke, a plume of pepper powder in the air. So again, this allows you many options. Maintain strong relationships with local community members, local law enforcement. Do not exercise your religious beliefs in an area where none of your people are armed. Like, you need to have somebody with an AR-15 that attends that congregation, 100%. If you don't have some type of armed security there, you're basically a sitting duck, and any terrorist can run in there with a long gun and start doing whatever he wants to you. So if you worship at a place of worship, you need to go to a place where there's armed security. And last but certainly not least, maintain situational awareness at all times, especially in urban, highly populated areas. Consider moving away from urban, highly populated areas. Areas frequented by intoxicated, homeless, drunken, disorderly types should be avoided. Do not start arguments with plebeians. I say again, do not start arguments with plebeians. If you're not a pawn, don't act like one. Break contact and get out of there. I can only speak for myself. I have accomplished too much in life to get tangled up with a pawn. I'm not a pawn on the chessboard. I'm not going to go back and forth with a pawn. If a pawn is starting some shit with me, I'm going to say, hey man, I'm about to get out of here, I'm leaving. Are you going to prevent me from leaving? I'm asking you, are you committing statutory kidnapping on me and preventing me from leaving? I literally will ask a person this question if they start crap with me, because I have no interest in going back and forth with this person, and I will try to leave. I will break contact, because I go back to my own property. I own acres of land that I control, so I don't want to be in a place where I'm not wanted, because I have my own place. Okay, I own property. So again, that's what I like to do. I like to establish, are you kidnapping me? Are you going to let me leave? Because if they don't let me leave, that's statutory kidnapping. Okay? And if I do manage to leave and they're following me, 911, what's your emergency? Hey, this guy's following me. Hard for a prosecutor to say this person isn't the aggressor when they're literally following you. So always break contact. Even if you have a duty to retreat, you should probably try to get away. In extreme circumstances, you may have to exercise a show of force. You may have to have armed patrols in your community. In a socially dysfunctional society, armed patrols like this may be necessary. The best option is usually to leave, especially if you're in a heavily urbanized area. But if you're in a rural area, fortifying and actually having a patrol presence and actually filling in the gap where the state has failed may become necessary. It's usually not necessary as of now, but practicing such patrols for if a day ever should come is advisable. So whoever you are anywhere in the world, this is how you stay safe from hate crimes, terrorism, things like that. Maintain situational awareness. Try to get physically fit to the best of your ability. And remember to protect those that can't protect themselves. I'm Jordan Jareb. I'll see you guys in the next one. Signing off.